Well, alarming reports continue to emanate from the protest hub of Homs as opposition activists suggest the city is suffering its heaviest shelling for days. And with the spiralling violence now being fanned by players such as Al-Qaeda, there are concerns the crisis could become increasingly sectarian, as RT's Sarah Firth reports.
The predominantly Christian town of Malula lies up in the Syrian mountains. Yet even here in this hauntingly beautiful place, and the signs of the polarising conflict that's tearing apart much of the country right now are creeping in, and the sense of foreboding hangs heavy. Locals tell us they don't travel out of this area much, as they no longer feel it's safe. We speak to the nuns at the monastery here. They tell us about the town's preservation of the ancient Aramaic language, and like their cherished tongue, they hope the fine balance of religious groups in the country can be kept, even in these difficult times.
We have been living here with all people, regardless of their religion and ethnicity, in peace for a long time.
Back in the centre, and Damascus is known as a melting pot of religions. Assad's Alawi sect are a minority in the country, but despite making up around just 12% of the total population, Alawis have occupied elite positions in the government and the military for decades. And now there are fears that resentments among the majority Muslim Sunni sects could erupt. The country that until this crisis broke out was religiously diverse and tolerant has now become increasingly polarised. There are genuine fears about just where those divisions might lead. Fears of sectarian tensions being further exploited have been stoked by the emergence of an Al-Qaeda video calling for holy war to overthrow the Assad regime.
Violence is just not going to end. We see it happening in Iraq, neighboring Iraq, sectarian violence that is catastrophic, and nobody's reporting on that. They're reporting on Syria, and they're not focusing on the potential problems that Syria could lead into another Iraq.
On the streets, though, and an increasingly desperate population has called for help in whatever form it comes, as long as it stops the violence. There's little time for them to think about long-term sectarian rifts, whilst many of them are worrying about daily survival.
Anyone who protects us, we are ready to hear, to say yes to anyone who protects us from this regime. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Anyone.
In Syria right now, the split still largely remains along political lines, but there's concern that as this increasingly bloody conflict continues, it could turn into a sectarian one as well. Sarah Firth, RT, Damascus, Syria.